Finally, we conclude our evening with the Valedictory address. The valedictorian was chosen by her peers to represent them at graduation and give a final salutation. The valedictorian also receives a watch from the college. I ask Emily Chescon to please come forward to begin her address.
Good evening to Brother Dominic, administration, teachers, parents, guests, and the class of 2024. To the graduates, thank you for entrusting me to speak on your behalf today. Tonight, we are graduating. We're sad, we're happy, well, it's a bittersweet symphony, that's life. Enough platitudes, time to begin. With this privilege, the very first thing I want to speak about is gratitude for our parents and extended family, because too often they are the last to know about our lives, our tests, our relationships, and perhaps our Saturday nights. Do you remember when you were a child and you asked your mom why she was crying as she read The Giving Tree or I'll Love You Forever? At the time, it seemed utterly incomprehensible, but perhaps now we can appreciate this emotional vulnerability. To raise a child requires an infinite deposit of strength. The high schooler at times makes a selfish withdrawal from this account, chasing after a flawed sort of independence. But family maintains an unwavering trust in this volatile relationship, even when the cost hits near the heart. Our parents have their own lives too, but still, they nod at our dramatic rants. They volunteer in the Dell shop. They support our athletic teams. They do more than we will ever come to understand. So I want to say to all the guests here today, on behalf of the graduating class, we'll love you forever, we'll like you for always. As long as we're living, our family you'll be. Thank you for everything. One last note on family. It's customary to include in a speech like this some advice to the graduates. I find this odd, not because young people don't have important things to say, but because normally advice is granted from some wise person onto some less wise person. So instead, here is some real advice to the class of 2024 from my grandparents. Wear sunscreen, dance, floss your teeth, wear high heels, meet strangers, and define your own success. Define your own success? It contradicts the heart of our education system. Imagine the College Board letting us define our own success. It's a big problem, though, that society still chases conventional academic achievement. Because of this, it's often thought that students who succeed in high school will fail later in life because they lack true direction to pursue learning. At Dell, this seems not to apply. Many of us, myself very much included, have absolutely no idea what we want to do with our lives. But during the past years, we've been immersed in a culture that rests upon the core values of moral, spiritual, and personal introspection. Even though we may not know what or where we want to be in 10 years, we have slowly constructed the lens through which we view the world. This is true achievement, finding your passions, embracing them, and utilizing them in a positive manner. There are people here who foster this perennial success, namely wonderful teachers. It's obvious that teachers don't need to stay after school to host tutorials or offer paragraphs of feedback on essays. But we have teachers here that do even more, that walked for hours to support school bursaries, that spent 6 months making us graduation presents, that force us to reflect upon life before every class. What I most want to thank our teachers for is their profound impact on the way in which we notice things. To the arts department, thank you for allowing us to see. To the science department, for making us wonder. To the math department, for appreciation. To the social sciences department, for curiosity. To the English department, for perspective. To the French department, for helping us understand. and to Student Services for ensuring we made it here today, shoes tied and all. Our world has been made indescribably more beautiful because of these gifts from our teachers and support staff. Things we used to deem as simple in the background are now so obviously there. Dramatic film soundtracks, ecosystems of incredibly complex relationships and reactions, the pattern of a sunflower, a perfectly oscillating pendulum, the intricacy of a novel. So thank you to these teachers for teaching us and for all else. There are others deserving appreciation too. Unlike at most schools, we were chosen to be here. This whole graduating class once sat in the sunroom with the fish tank in the Heritage House, knees jittering, getting grilled in an interview. Who decided our fate? The administration. It's a scary phrase, and at first they seem like scary people. But Brother Dominic, Mr. Vitsinos, Mr. Prospero, Mr. Roussel, they wholeheartedly embrace the school and the LaSallian tradition that is tied to it. To you, thank you for inviting us into this place and for treating us so very well while we were here. Where will we go next? It would be fitting here to reflect upon the eternal phrase that is Dell's mission. Enter to learn, leave to serve. We're leaving the strange social experiment that is high school and getting thrown into the real world. How are we ready for that? What is it that morphs learning into serving that makes us leave this place as good, solid people? For me, it's community. There is so much more to Dell than academics, athletics, co-curriculars, and friendship. These three aspects are what transform this place from a school into a community. To the coaches, thank you for never curbing our enthusiasm, for preserving the joy of elementary school soccer baseball. Sometimes it even seemed as if you were more into the game than we were. On co-curriculars, we, together with our teachers, put on amazing theater productions, played some incredible soccer games, and had so many clubs. We've experienced countless Megan's Hugs, masses, and Share Life Days. What came of this? Friendship. I can't speak for everyone on behalf of their high school experience, because the reality is that we each had a vastly different time. Most of us loved it. Sometimes we really, really wanted to go home. Still though, I think that all of us could attest to the value of a friend. The people who you wake up in the morning with things to tell to, who you share a locker and a spare tie with. The people who you can sing in the car with the sunroof rolled up and your socks rolled down, who linger in the calf when they're saying goodbye. And these people, they're sitting right in front of me. So thank you to you all for making these days the good old days of future nostalgia. To some of you, I'm sure, this may sound overly optimistic. Aren't the good old days for our parents, when life was the breakfast club? I disagree. We might benefit in remembering an important fact from biology. The world is in flux. We evolve, we change in response to pressures to form a stronger cohort of humanity. High school is different than it was for our parents, but no matter the time, everyone dreams of yesterday. I want to end this address with the quote from The Perks of Being a Wallflower. I know these will all be stories someday, and our pictures will become old photographs. But right now, these moments are not stories. This is happening. And you're listening to that song on that drive with the people who you love most in this world. And in this moment, I swear we are infinite. Don't let these people become a stranger with a familiar smile that you pass by on the street. That's no way to say goodbye. It's not important to remember how many hours we studied or the pain of a Monday morning lecture. But remember the smirks across the classroom, the shared scribbles in textbook margins, the I saved you a seats. Remember Dell, all of it. Congratulations, class of 2024.
Thank you, Emily.